Christian parenting.
I'm your host, Courtney DeFeo, and I hope you're having a great summer. And I've heard from many of you, you're listening on your walks at the beach or outside, and you're doing all kinds of fun things. And thanks for taking me with you. That's such an honor. I would love to hear from you on which episodes are resonating. Who did you love? What did you learn from them? And then what kind of topics or things interest you for the fall? I'm just now scheduling some things for the fall and would love to hear what you need most, because that's the reason I'm here, guys, is to help support you and even myself in my journey as a mom, that we want kids that know, love, and follow Jesus, and that can be really challenging sometimes. So we want to be practically helpful and always encouraging to you. Today's guest is Amy Fenton. She's a mom of 3 that lives in the Nashville area. Her kids are all in college right now. Actually, one just graduated, and she will share about her journey as a mom. But I wanted to have her on because of her history in children's ministry. She has been a part of children's ministry from the local church angle to now at an organization, a nonprofit that services churches all around the world. And so she's been doing that for over 30 years. And she has such a heart for obviously Jesus, but the local church and how it can support and partner with us in raising our kids. As she'll share, it's not all up to the church and it's not all up to us. It's actually a partnership with the primary influence being us. But I want you to listen from one mom's perspective. Actually, she has been a single mom her entire time that she's been raising her kids, and she has some really great insights and wisdom looking back over her emptiness season and looking back over those parenting years, what God has taught her kids, how he's been faithful. And I think it will encourage you so much today. We will link to several things that she mentioned, including raising boys and girls. You guys probably know Sissy Goff and David Thomas. They're with a counseling center in Nashville, and they are good friends and we are friends. And so we bring up their names quite a bit. So if you don't know, that's who we're talking about. Sissy Goff and David Thomas with Raising Boys and Girls. It's a resource and a ministry place that we all love. So make sure you check them out. It'll be in the show notes. Okay, enjoy my dear friend, Amy Fenton. Hey, Amy Fenton, how are you?
Hey, I'm so good. How are you, Courtney?
I'm good. I'm so happy to see you. And I got to spend time with one of your daughters, and she is as delightful as I could have dreamed for one of your daughters. So tell us about your kids. How are you guys this summer?
So sweet. We are so good. So good. They are all home from college, and Jaden and Pierce, my middle son, are working with our friends Sissy Goff and Melissa Trevathan at Hopetown this summer.
Love it.
With our friends with Daystar Counseling. My son Blaze is working at GameStop. He's got the inside track to the Switch 2 that just came out. Exciting things around here.
Wait, I thought you had 2 daughters. So Jaden's your oldest, and then you have 2 boys?
2 boys, yeah.
Okay, I made up in my head you had another daughter. Okay, that every boy's dream is like GameStop. Yes, please.
Right. I mean, let me say, I do have a lot of adopted daughters, so I can see how you would think I have more than just the one. But yeah,
well, I think I loved in John Acuff's daughter with you at some point. That was
100%.
Okay, so
100%.
tell me what you're up to work-wise. I was trying to do a little internet sleuthing on you, and somewhere I saw that you've been in ministry over 30 years. Is that correct? How is that possible?
Courtney, I tell people I started when I was 8. It's so crazy. I don't know how that's possible. I really don't. I started in ministry. I really felt called to children's ministry when I was 15 years old and knew this was what I was going to do and started to pursue that and work as an intern. When I was in high school, I was barely older than the kids I was working with. I just knew that that's what God had called me to. There was no doubt in my mind that this was the path I was taking. So,
wow.
Right now, I've been busy at Orange. We are working really hard right now. We've just merged with Amazing Life. So that's been exciting, a lot going on there. And I've been doing some coaching with some churches and just helping them really. I love to help make sure churches are set up strategically to win behind the scenes. It's so much more than a curriculum. It's what you're doing to put kids in relationships with others and how you're fostering that. So I love to have those conversations with our large churches. I think sometimes they get overwhelmed and think, well, I have too many kids. I can't be strategic. And I beg to differ. So
yeah. And you have a passion. I heard you on Sissy's podcast about volunteers. Like you often ask them like who are engaged with these kids, which can be super overwhelming if you go to a big church. You're like, we've got 500 kids and 4 people want to help. So like, tell me what that looks like. So is it just as people come to you, different size churches, you're meeting with the children's team or the children's minister? What does that look like?
Right. Yes. So oftentimes I'm meeting with the next gen pastor or the children's minister. A lot of times it starts with they are convinced, just what you said, like kids can't be in a small group. We're a mega church. That can't happen. And so we just have to start at square one and go, okay, that can happen. No matter how many kids are in your church, that can happen. And it's a slow process to turn a big ship, but to help them look at how to recruit volunteers, what they're asking of volunteers. So many people in children's ministry make excuses. Like they ask people, they'll say, will you just please help one Sunday? Instead of going, you know what? We have the greatest kids in the world in our church. We need some amazing people to come hang with them. It's the biggest blessing in the world to be a part of our ministry. And so come apply. You'll be lucky if you get in.
That's right.
An exclusive club to get to serve kids.
Yeah.
Just changing their mindset about how they think about what they do is hard sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the other day, I want to make a list, but I'm too scared to leave somebody out. But the old saying that it takes a village to raise your kids. Ella just graduated and you're looking back going, okay, Malik, that preteen pastor, the couple, I'm blanking on their name. That was like her first and second grade teacher, like her small group leaders. It's like there was probably hundreds of touch points of people invested in her life that you feel a little bit of a stewardship to go like, all these people poured into a child that wasn't there. Like, where can I give back? And so I got to lead for 4 years, these high school girls, they just graduated. And everything that you said is true. Like, I was so overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm not cool enough. And I see the vision behind saying, please follow them through. And I was exhausted and I wanted to lay on the ground after they graduated. But it was one of the biggest blessings of my life to watch them from freshman year to senior. And the same is true, I imagine, from a kindergartner to a fifth grader. So let's talk about you looking back on your own kids' lives, looking back over just the influences and the people in the local church. What have you seen in their own lives about that power of someone knowing their name, someone invested in their life other than you, saying you look pretty, or how was that math test, or challenging them? What was that like for your family?
Right. Oh my goodness, Courtney, I really could not have done it without the church. And I say that with all sincerity.
Yeah.
I know that that's not a catchphrase for me. Raising 2 boys, and I'm a single mom. So especially raising 2 boys on my own, I needed those men in their life. And so I look back like you all through their life at the people who God put in their lives at strategic moments. The guy who's our pastor now at Cross Point at our particular campus, he used to be in like a corporate job and a volunteer in the kids ministry and was so good to my boys when they were in that awkward preteen, like 4th and 5th grade stage. And he was their Sunday school teacher. And how cool that he's our pastor now,
It's amazing.
It's so amazing. And they love him. They love going to church. They love seeing him, even now as 19 and 20-year-old guys. But the same for Jaden. All 3 of them have had amazing small group leaders along the way who've not only poured into them, but also taught them the value of relationship. They've been in intentional small groups with other people. And so they've taught them how to do life in circles, not rows. We hear that saying.
Yeah.
But how to do life with people in small group. It has been invaluable. And I'll tell you this, Courtney, because, I led a small group too of girls we ended up being together like 7 years.
Wow.
My intention was 6 months.
I'm like 4 almost killed me. How'd you do 7?
And they just kept showing up.
It's so great.
They're like, we are meeting again next time, right? And I'm like, sure, you can keep coming back. And here's the really fun thing. Now they are all graduating college. They're getting married. They're getting their first jobs. And we still have our same group text thread going that we've had all those years.
That's so cute.
Sweet.
And I bet you can echo this. And I'm thinking of the parents, you guys that are listening, going, that is amazing. Good for you. My kids don't have these people. And so what I was surprised by was how long it took in some layers for these relationships. Like I thought I'm a pretty good people person. I was like, oh, I'll have these girls hooked by week 1. But some of them took a couple years to open up. Some of them, I'm just learning what's going on in their life. And so I think that long-term focus can help us as parents too. So 2 things. Will you talk to just the mom that's like, I just can't, my kids don't have these people. Like, where do you even start? And then I'll ask you a follow-up question after that. But let's start there.
Right. I think that too, in this stage of life, I think you have to look at where you're taking your kids.
Yeah.
We ended up at Cross Point. I love Cross Point. I love our church. I love being there. But I ended up there because when we visited there, we had visited several places and I picked up my kids and they said, they all 3 said, this was awesome. Can we come back?
Wow.
So I'm like, it doesn't matter what's happening in the service right now.
Yes.
They love it. I have the rest of my life to go find another church if this is not a fit for me, but I need to put them in a place where they feel comfortable and welcomed and they will engage with the community of people who are there. So I think sometimes it requires sacrifice on our part.
Yeah.
And asking those hard questions of people who are leading those ministries. Like, what are you doing to make sure these kids are connected? Are you helping them get in small groups? Are you helping plan events that'll help them feel more connected? What are the small group leaders like? Do they serve weekly? What's their commitment? Those are the things that I guess really because of my job and what I do, I have a front row seat to see the importance of that in churches all across the country. So those are the things that I've really looked for my kids. And you're right, it does not happen easily all the time. I have one that's an introvert. It took him a couple years to feel like he fit. And that's okay.
And I think it's so it's both. We talk about this on this podcast all the time. It's like the $1 million parenting question. What do you do and what do you navigate versus what God is up to? And it's both. Like God could probably navigate someone at GameStop that you never could have manufactured in your life. And you're like, he needed this mentor and this boss. But there's also decisions, like you said, that we made that we're like, we're going to make sure they're in front of this person and again and again. And I would also just encourage us to call out when you see someone that is pouring in, and maybe like for your boys, like for a guy to know you're showing up. Did you know they don't have a father in their life? Did you know that just rises up in a leader to be like, oh, this kid, I really could help them. And so I try to do that when I see someone pouring in my kids, just to remind them of they may not come up to you at the end of the thing and be like, thank you so much for the wisdom you're pouring in my life. But it's like, I'm hearing they are hanging on your words. And so that's a lot of comments. So talk to me about that balance for you, because I'm sure you can look back and go, I could have never seen what was coming and what God did, versus you also put them in position to find people. And it's both, right?
Right. That is so true. So true. And it's kind of funny in the both and there are people who have come into our life very unintentionally. And I can look and go, that was a God thing. Courtney, I'll say this. I start always with prayer. I have to remind myself, I think we all do as parents, especially as a single parent, you can start to have a pity party, nobody cares about these kids. I have to do this all on my own. I'm by myself. I have to stop and go, God cares about them more than I do.
Yeah.
And I care about them with everything in me, and God cares about them even more. So to start and go, God, right now, we're in this really hard time. My boys are wanting to date, and I don't know how to have a conversation with a boy about dating. I can speak from a girl's perspective, but just lead somebody to have that conversation with them. And every time, God is so faithful to show me the right person who needs to engage in that conversation, put the right people in place at the right time. Just so cool to truly walk by faith without trying to control it.
Yeah.
So, he's been so good.
Yeah. I love that you said prayer. And I keep referring to, I'm like, y'all just go listen to her with Sissy and David. It was so good. But one of the things you said was that is faith inspiring for your own kids to look back and see where God provided for your family over the year, to be like, I don't know where this paycheck's going to come from, or I don't know how we're going to do that summer camp. So was that some of the ways that you made faith real in your home, to say we're in this together? I don't know all the answers, but we have God.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% in everything, because when you have 3, mine are all really close in age.
Yeah.
So Blaze is about to have a birthday and turn 19. And for this little window of time, they will be 19, 20, and 21.
Wow.
which is nuts. And when they were little, I thought it was hard. I wasn't thinking ahead to the fact that they would all be in college at the same time.
Good
I'm like,
times.
oh, that's harder.
Yes, that's right.
But even with that, like, I remember a long time ago, a friend of mine named Ronnie Brock, who's ministered at a church in Oklahoma now, but he said, I always start at a place of yes. If my kids have a dream, I start at a place of yes and say, let's pray about it and let's keep walking through the doors until God closes them.
Wow.
Because it's easy I have two kids at Samford University at a private Christian college. It would have been easy to say, no, you just need to go to the local community college. I can't figure out how that would work. But we started at a place of yes and going, okay, let's just see what God does, what doors open, how he works this out for that to happen. And the same thing, I can tell countless stories over the years of how that has happened with going to youth camp. You know, when you have 3 that want to go and youth camp is expensive or whatever it may be. He's been so faithful. Yeah.
I'm thinking of my friend Bridget that I know is listening, and her oldest son is insanely brilliant and got into Purdue. I mean, who gets into Purdue? And she said the same thing. Like, I know he's supposed to go. I have no idea how we're going to pay for these bills, but I'm so excited to see where God, provides and helps out, because she wasn't just flippant about it. She was like, praying and being like, I really feel like he's supposed to be there. So I'm excited for her to see that story unfold. Okay. So looking back, you've got 19, 20, 21. What would you do hands down all over again? And that is such a hard question, but it could be anything in their faith world. It could be Sissy and David. It could be anything that comes to mind that you're like, as we think about raising kids to know, love, and follow Jesus, what were things that you're like, I'd do it all over again?
Yeah. I'm so glad instantly Sissy and David came to mind. So that is the one thing that I am so grateful that I pursued for them. I pursued for them to get help in counseling at a young age. And the other thing that I'm glad that I did is I did not let them quit. So when we hit middle school, we went through seasons where, especially Pierce, he's my middle kid. If you look up middle kid in the dictionary, I think his picture's there.
That's me. I love him.
You two would be tight. I said this wall is white and he would say, no, it's black. Like, we went through a phase in middle school where it was opposite day. Every day. Like, whatever mom said, he was going to say the opposite. And so he went through a phase where he would say, like, why do I have to go? I've been seeing Mr. David a long time and I'm fine now. And I would say, I know, but you like going to hang out with Mr. David and Owen, his dog, and we're just going to keep going. It's an hour out of our week. What does it hurt?
Yeah.
And, but he didn't want to do anything if it involved getting off the sofa at that phase of life. But now that he's 20 and actually working at Hopetown, he always will say, thanks so much for not letting me talk you out of that.
Yeah.
He's so glad,
Where would you start if we all just want to literally go sit with Sissy and David? So you're local, so you can do that. But where do you start? Do you start with your church? You're like, I don't even know how to find a good counselor in my area.
Yeah, I would start with your church. And if your church doesn't have great answers, actually, Sissy has a great article on how to find the counselor in your area.
Okay.
Like some good interview questions to ask.
Perfect.
Counselor, maybe we can find that.
Yes, I'll link to that
in your show notes.
I'll link to that. As parents, we all want our kids to do well in school and feel really confident. Maybe your child is struggling with a specific subject and needs a little extra help. Maybe your child is ahead and wants to challenge themselves. Or maybe you just want to avoid the summer slide and head back to school strong in the fall. If you can relate to any of those things, you need to look at IXL. IXL is an online learning program that enriches your homeschool curriculum. It offers practice in math, English, language arts, science, and social studies while adapting to each child. It meets them right where they are. Plus, IXL encourages students to be curious and empowers them to choose how to learn. Both of my kids have used IXL through their school for years, and I can see the difference it made in both of their lives. Everything on IXL is organized by grade, subject, topic, and subtopic, makes it super simple to find activities for the exact skills you are covering. IXL is trusted by 15 million students worldwide and has proven to improve performance in over 75 scientific research studies. That is amazing. You can make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And as part of the Mess listeners, you can get an exclusive 20% 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I think mental health is becoming more of a common thing. But years ago, just like your son said, it was like, oh, I'm broken. They're going to fix me. And now it's like, I would take you to the dentist every 6 months. I would take you, to your pediatrician. So of course we're going to go to your counselor every 6 months or a month or whatever. So that's so great. And to have the forethought when they were little to know what they were walking through in y'all's family is really cool.
Yeah. I'm so grateful for it. I would do it over again times 100. And my daughter now, this is something she has shared publicly, so I'm not sharing private information, but she loves counseling. She has talked many of her friends into going to counseling. She is like counseling champion. She moved to Birmingham to go to college. She found her own counselor. She was like, I need an adult counselor now. I've graduated from Daystar and I need my own place to go. And she's taken a lot of people with her on that journey to say, this is so great. You've got to experience it. So it's funny how that's instilled in her now. And I hope in my boys too, if they have a need.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. All right. Anything else come to mind, even relationally, like you look back, things you would do 100 times over again?
Yeah. I really try to put a lot of people in our lives who are great examples of people that I want them to be like. So we spend a lot of time with my parents because I love my parents. I love who they are. I want them to be great examples for my kids. We spend a lot of time with my closest friend group, like my tight friend group. They all have these beautiful, healthy, imperfect marriages. But I love that my kids spend a lot of time with, like you referred to John Acuff's daughter being one of my other daughters, which she is. But, John in turn has taken my boys out for sushi or to go hang out. And so I think surrounding them with people that I'd be so proud if they became those people.
It's a great idea.
That they're, that they are mirroring the behavior that they're seeing in those people, not only just who they are personally, but also who they are in their marriages and their work and their life.
Which we just soak that stuff up. Like you think back to when you were little, it's like, I don't remember one thing my best friend's mom said, but I remember how I felt in her home. Like,
yes.
Oddly enough, I'm flying up. She is not doing well health-wise, and I'm just going to fly up and sit with her in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, how to explain to her what it felt like to be just a child that came in and out of her home was really special. And so I love that you're saying that because I think that we can get into like a formula where we're like, okay, this many devotions by the table, and do they know all the scripture? And it's like something as simple as that is like, who are you having dinner with? Like, who's in your home? Yeah. Who's around your kids is huge.
Yeah. That's so true. And I love, Courtney, that you said you don't remember everything she taught you or said to you, because I think that's so important. I think sometimes, especially if you're certain personality types, you get hung up on the checklist, and there's no checklist.
Yeah.
There's not. They're just best practices.
I just want it to be a checklist so bad. And because you're like, and I think I really did, I wouldn't have said it out loud, but I really did think there was a checklist, and I would just make notes and check and whatever Andy Stanley does and Sissy and David and check. And then you go, oh my word, the checklist is actually 9,000 times what I thought. And there's no way to even accomplish it. So I think that's where I am with Ella going like, I did the best I could with the hours and the resources, and she's going to figure out a lot of it on her own, which is more powerful than me lecturing her anyway. But I think once you realize you can't even get to the checklist or ever finish it or it doesn't exist is really freeing, right?
It is. Like when I'll speak at a church, I always do a thing and I'll say, think of somebody who had a huge impact on your life as a child that you associate them with leading you to Christ. You're outside of your parents. Like, who was there? Who do you picture? Most people have somebody who pops into their head, and I'll say, now write down the top 10 Bible stories they taught you. And everybody just kind of sits with a blank stare. And I'm like, right. You don't remember that, but you do remember that they were Jesus to you. You remember how they acted towards you, how they made you feel, like you said. Mm-hmm. And so I think even in children's ministry, sometimes we get like, they can't leave until they memorized 14 scriptures for today, or they've done, and there are kids who just don't learn that way, who can't do that. But how are we making them feel while they're there with us, you know?
Yeah, so good. Hey, let me pivot real quick and ask you, you may not like this question, but you're going to do great. What if you see so many parents that are dropping their kids at church?
Mm-hmm.
What do you wish you could say to them? Like shake them a little bit and be like, because I think you said in another interview, like we're passing a lot of the responsibility to the church when that's not really what it is. Is there anything that's like a hot button for you that's like, I just wish you'd, I don't know, tell the kids to obey authority? I mean, whatever the thing is, that'd be awesome too.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish parents would just be involved. And that doesn't mean that you have to serve in that ministry. But so many times I see parents who don't serve in the ministry, but then they sure do want to tell you everything you're doing wrong in the ministry. And so I think to have adults support other adults who are, especially who are volunteers.
Yeah.
Like, hello, these people are giving up their Sunday morning.
To help your kid.
Right. They got up 2 hours earlier than you to get here early to serve in your child's class and to tell them about Jesus. And sometimes there's this, especially recently, there's this over-parenting thing that they want to tell you everything you're doing wrong and why, you didn't send home enough Bible verses and you didn't do this right. And like, just get involved. Encourage the people who are serving your kids. Ask how you can pray for them. Ask how you can support them. Ask what you can send to make the class better. You might say, I don't feel called to serve, but if you need me to send snacks or paper plates and cups next week, or, how can I be a part, even if I don't feel called to serve? Just get to know those people, love on them, support them.
Yeah.
So important.
It's so true. I mean, I had a lot of opinions about student ministry until I was there every Wednesday and then was like, whoa, it's like
right?
Very intense. Like we need to be paying these pastors like double for sure what we're paying them right now. So much.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, people don't think, in fact, my friend Roy Grant did a video the other day. He said, I don't think people know what it really is like to be in ministry. And so his video was like highlighting his calendar for the week. And it was like hospital visits and planning out the summer and planning the lessons for Sunday and doing a dress rehearsal of a dry run and then counseling with some kids. Like the list was so long. And he's like, people think I'll just show up on Sundays and just teach a lesson and that's it. And it's easy. And it's not. It's hard.
It's not. So good. All right. Now let's pivot to you. I made my last friend cry when I asked her this question, but I said, what have you learned about you now that your kids have gone? Because it's almost like, and I know that your identity is a child of God, but it's so hard not to make your kids your identity. So maybe, I don't even know if you're there to take a breath yet, but are you starting to be like, see you of like, oh my gosh, I have time. And so, yeah, what are you learning about you as they've left the house?
Oh, goodness. Courtney.
I know.
That's not fair.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
Goodness. I've learned I don't sit still well. It's funny because when they were little, I used to think, I want nobody needs anything from me for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
that's
when they're little and their hands are under the bathroom door and you're like, just let me take a shower in peace. Let me do something in peace.
Yeah.
And so it has been an adjustment to suddenly be home and everybody's gone and it's so quiet. And so I'm still trying to figure out what to do with my time.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of still in the messy middle of that. Like, where do I fit? What does that look like? In the middle of all this, our companies merged. And so that's kept me extra busy, which is kind of good that I have had margin.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm still trying to figure that out.
My friend that I made cry, she was so sweet, but she said, no, it was a different one. I have so many this summer that are winding together. But my friend Susan Peterson said on the episode, do you know her, Susan and Todd Peterson? Okay.
So.
They're involved with like Young Life and Passion, but amazing couple. And she said, her husband said, don't rush. We have time. And I thought that's huge. Like, I think either like the coping mechanism for your kids leaving the house would be like, just dive into work, be super busy, or like, I'll just go buy a new house or something like erratic. And she's like, just sit in it for a minute. Like sit in the morning of like, I love that season. What is next for me and not rush. And I was like, nobody said that to me. And I think that's amazing just to be like, it's okay if you take 2 years and you may be exactly where you're supposed to be, but also allowing yourself to dream a little bit to be like, do I move? What do I do? That kind of thing is kind of fun to think about.
Right. Yeah, it is. It is fun. It's weird. Like I've learned that I can eat really cheap when it's just me.
It's amazing.
So funny. They all came home from college and I was like, wait a minute. I have to buy food for these people.
You're like,
and
I
they
was good
eat
on
them
my
all.
vanilla yogurt and my cheese
Right.
stick. This is good.
That's so easy. Like I could eat raisin bran for dinner every night and I was content. And these people want real food.
Oh my
The
word.
nerve.
That's hilarious. I love it. Amy, you have so much to offer in so many lanes, but I do want you to encourage the single mom that is in it going like, I don't see a way. Like this is harder than I can handle. And there's just seasons. I'm thankful I have two dear friends that are walking that because it gives me perspective and makes me think before I start whining about my life when they're like, oh, that's cute. You're struggling. Try doing this by yourself. Encourage those moms for me.
Yeah. I know, Courtney, I have learned that God is so faithful. And there's some nights that's the only way that I sleep. And I do sleep good at night, but some nights go, I don't know how I made it through today, but His grace was enough for today. And I'm asking that it's enough for tomorrow. I think that one of the most important things that I had to learn when they were younger that I was not good at in a previous life was asking for help.
Yeah.
And being honest about my situation. And that's super hard.
Yeah.
To be a single mom, there's a lot of, for good or bad, right or wrong, there's a lot of pride in getting yourself through and getting these kids through. And sometimes God is like, yeah, I know you're strong, whatever. It's time to let that down. Quit acting like you've got it all together. It's time to reach out, to ask for help, to wave the flag, say, I can't do this right now. I've got to have help. And Courtney, if any of your friends called you and said, I can't do this today, like, will you come get the kids and take them to dinner?
Be all over it.
Right. But we picture that we're inconveniencing people if we need help or we need somebody to hold us up. And I think that's biblical to go,
it is.
Somebody's got to hold my arms up. Like, I can't do it today. It's the hardest thing you will ever do, and you cannot do it alone.
Well, and I think that's real friendship. Like I look back to the moms that I'm real friends with, like, there's no points being kept here. Like you don't have to pick up my kid. Like I am already going to cheer. I'll just pick up your kid every day. Like, and I think it's true for a single mom, but also for my friends that work full time out of the home. They felt so bad all the time. I'm like, no, I am just running this carpool. I have 5 other seats. Like put your kid in here. And it did give me a lot of joy, but I can see I'm very good at helping. I'm not good at asking for help. So I can spew all that and say, when I'm in that season, I get really uncomfortable. So I get that you would have been like, I know I need help, but I don't want to. That's great.
Yeah. I mean, this weekend is a great example. So Jaden just graduated from Sanford, which is awesome. That's one less person's tuition I have to take care of. But in it, this season has been so busy for me. And at first she was like, I don't really want a grad party. I don't want to do anything. Well, then she graduated and then she was like, maybe I kind of do want to do something. And my best friend, who has been my best friend since childhood, she was like, you know what? We've got this. I'm hosting the party. You and the kids just show up on Friday night. We'll celebrate Jaden. You tell me who to invite. And,
what a beautiful gift. The one you didn't even have to hint or ask for. The fact that she's that kind of friend that knew that would bless you is amazing.
And the old me would have said, no, I've got this. I'll have everybody over. I just went, that would be amazing. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Just thank you so much.
So sweet. All right. I want to end here and just say that I've only met one of your kids, but I got to be at a wedding with her and she is amazing. And so I know it's like when you send your kids to school, you're like, I know what they're like at home. I hope they're great out in public, but she was so warm and delightful. And she's very good at making conversation, making everyone feel included. We're at a round table and my family doesn't know Melissa. She doesn't know your kids, but she was so much fun. Hit the dance floor. I was like, this is my kind of girl. I can hang out with her a lot. So well done, Mama. Awesome. Good job.
Thank you, Courtney. She loved you. She was like, do you know Courtney Defoe? And I said, yes. And she was like, I got to sit with her and we hung out at the wedding and we're now best friends.
Yes, I love her. I wish I could hire her. I have no income over here, but I'm just kidding. Thank you for doing this. And guys, where can they find you if they want maybe you to come coach at their church or they want to get some curriculum? Where can they find you?
Yes. You can go to thinkorange.com if you want to get curriculum, or you can email me directly at amy@thinkorange.com. If you want to reach out to me, I would love to talk to you. If I can help you help your church, your kids ministry win, then it'd be an honor.
You are so awesome. Hey, in your empty nest, come to Dallas. Let's have lunch. How's that sound?
Yes, I would love it. I would love it.
Okay. Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it. Okay, bye.
Thanks.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Pardon the Mess. As always, we've got more encouragement and resources over at christianparenting.org. And you can also stay connected with us on social media at Pardon the Mess. And if you like this episode, I'd love for you to do two things. Press follow on whatever podcast platform you love, and also be sure to leave a rating so other parents can find us. Remember, you're never alone in this beautiful mess of parenting.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.